What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the wet clutches in these Massimo, Hisun, Bennches, Coleman, Vector, Axis, all this stuff. We're going to go over the wet clutch stuff. A lot of guys have issues with the wet clutch wearing out really bad, pretty fast. Common issue, everybody knows that. Same thing with the one-way bearings going out, wet clutch drums taking a crap. But we're going to talk about a little bit about slugs that they can put in these things. So let's look down here at the table real quick and just let's talk about the slugs and stuff. So these slugs, I got them off of eBay. I forget how much they are, but each one of these slugs weighs 0.2 ounces, which is 5.67 grams. Grams, usually weigh these things in grams. You know, anytime you do weights in like the Odes and the trail blocks or on the EPI style with the arms, they weigh these things in grams. They go from, 5 grams, you go up to 1 gram increments, 2 gram increments, so on and so forth. And that's usually on the primary clutch itself, which, it engages and closes and so on and so forth. So what we have a lot of issues with, the premature wear on here. So let's show you an old one just to see what the inside of this looks like. You see how it's really, really grooved out, really, really bad. Very, very common. And this wet clutch, if you compare it, you can just see how far it's wore down, how the paws on this thing, the fibers, the big difference between that. I'm not sure how many miles this one has on it. This one came off a Cub Cadet 500, Cub Cadet Challenger 500, and a one-way bearing. Again, always remember, guys, a one-way bearing, when you put it on there, the numbers face you. It'll be able to turn counterclockwise, okay? It'll turn counterclockwise and lock clockwise. Some of the newer 550s, I think their Linhai motors don't have a one-way bearing. Don't quote me on it. I haven't worked on one that does not have a one-way bearing, but I've seen it on the forums on Facebook and stuff like that. So again, if you guys are going to change, you have any issues with your wet clutch drum, anything, change all 3 of these as a set, or as whatever you want to call it, 3 pieces. Because when this thing starts to wear into the drum and you get a new wet clutch, this thing is not going to be set up just like, wear like that. You can see how smooth this one is. This one here was, a guy put a new clutch in there and the bearing came out. But anyways, you can just see how smooth that is. So this thing will have a chance to wear and break in according to the way this wet clutch is set up. Now you want to pre-soak these and let them soak. A lot of guys say 24 hours. Not a bad idea to let it soak in your motor oil. And remember, always get wet clutch compatible motor oil, 1040, 1540, whatever you guys prefer. Some of the manuals say 1040, 1030. 1040 has a little bit bigger heat range in a lot of things. 1540 is what a lot of them recommend now. But anyway, so what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to show you guys how to put these slugs in there. And what these slugs will do, they'll add extra weight out here. These things will actually engage a little bit quicker because we're putting the weight out towards the end of the paws. And basically what would happen when that engages, it'll engage a little bit harder. It'll hold a little bit tighter as you're up at RPMs, and it won't let this thing slip as much. I just literally looked at a post about a guy's it's on his second wet clutch in a couple 100 miles. So I would recommend trying out these slugs and see if that makes a big difference. There is one gentleman on there, I think his name's Chris, and also here on YouTube, Indeed Woods, I think is what it is. And he's got an older Massimo, and he put slugs in there, and he shimmed out a secondary clutch and made it stay in a low range gear longer. Even though he's in high range, it makes it stay in the gear ratio, a lower gear range, a shorter gear range to give it more torque and stuff like that. He does a lot of hauling of wood and stuff. So basically what we're going to do, all you got to do is a pretty simple project here. A vise would be great to have. You'll pop out each one of these snap rings here, or these circlips or snap rings, whatever you want to call them. And this is it's a little bit pressurized, so just be careful. You can also put it in a vise and squish it a little bit. But here, let's just go down here and I'll show you guys what I'll do here. We'll just pop them out, take a screwdriver, and you can pop them out like this. Whoop, I dropped one down in there. So you can pop them all out like that if you want to. Pretty simple. Just takes a couple seconds to get a good grip. Now, I personally have not ran one of these myself. I've had other customers run this, and they really like the way it does. See, again, yeah, I got 3, there's 4. You can see, I don't know if you can see, but when I push on this, it's got a piece of spring steel back here that's convex. Basically, it's dome shaped a little bit. It'll push out on this. So putting it in a vise will definitely help compress this down and make it easier to pull these out, but I'm showing that you can do it without a vise. I will put it back together with a vise just to make my life a little easier for video stuff. But so you can take all these out. You can see how that pressure let up just now. And this thing here, you'll just pop this off. This is a nice flat piece. Remember, the little nipples will face out. And then you have this plate here. Like I said, it's convex, means basically the dome goes up. The bowl shape goes out towards you like this. That'll go next. And then you have this guy here, which has a little lip that holds this plate in there. So when you smash it all back together, it doesn't cause any issues with it sliding out past a certain point. So you guys can see it has the little holes right here, and they don't go all the way through. So what you can do, you can grab your little slug. Like I said, it's better to have a set of soft jaws when you do this, but I don't have a set on me today. So this little guy will go in that hole. You can either try to tap it down in there. Let me grab a mallet real quick and just give you a couple options here. So you could take it, you want to be careful, and you could tap it down in here if you want, but I prefer to take the vise over here, and then what I'll do, I'll put it in here on the edge like this, and I'll slowly come in here like that, press it completely flat. You want to make sure the edge is not sticking out, because when these activate, you don't want it to come down and catch. It can actually catch on, when this is on here, like this, it can actually catch that edge and hold that up. So you want to make sure that it's as flush as possible when you put this thing together. So let me push this in a little bit further. And you could use like a small socket that will fit that also to help. Let me find one here that's that size. Let's see, it's going to be, it's an 8. It's about a 7 millimeter, what I have here, or you can use like a 5/16, but you can line that up also on here to make sure that it's pushed all the way in, so you're not going to run into any issues. It's a little bit of a booger to get it in here and get everything lined up. Or you can even use a press. I have a press too. You can also use a press. But I'm just showing you guys some different options of how to get these in here. Again, I want to make sure that's in there as deep as it'll go, nice and flush. And we'll just move on to the other 4 we have left here. Pretty simple, easy process. And put it back together. It takes no time. No time at all. Like I said, you can just see how easily it slides in. Make sure it's all the way in there. Nice and flush. On the next one. If I don't drop it. It's almost like putting a set of swing arm bearings in with a press, except for it's kind of like a side press instead of, being instead of having the press come straight down. Hopefully you guys are getting a decent view of what's going on. And like I said, this will definitely help with clutch engagement, slippage. Not saying it's going to save the paws by any means. These things, we all know how not well made some of these are. But again, quite a few guys rave and roar about this and talk about how much better it feels, the engagement is, how the longevity, no issues with slipping, because this is the first piece when it comes to your clutches activating. This is the first piece because this bolts directly onto the crank, and as this spins up, it engages against the armatures here engage against the wet clutch drum. Engage that, so the tighter it engages that, the less this is going to slip. Your crank will, if you put pressure, like the crank is spinning no matter what. So when you put all that pressure on here and this runs to your, this on your primary clutch, it runs to your secondary, and those tires and all that weight on the forcing on this thing, and this is trying to hold tight in here and turn this, which in turn turns your belt, turns your secondary clutch, turns your transmission, turns your drive shaft, turns your differential, which turns your wheels. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, and all that weight is going in these little paws. So we got to make sure there's something we can do. So adding these little, even though they're only 5.67 grams or 0.2 ounces, it'll make a huge difference in the way these things operate. So now again, we take the plate, this lip faces up towards you, the bowl like this, the bowl edge, like the dome part of it faces up, and the little nipples right here face up. Put that back together like this. Now you can push down and put those back in. It's gonna be a pain in the butt. So what I'll do, I'll come over here to this vise again. I'm not gonna cut from this, guys. I'm just gonna run this the whole time. What I'll do, I'll take this thing, I will put it there, and it'll smash down just enough to give me a little bit of a lip right there. So, because that's a spring washer's pushing out on that to keep all that pressure together. So while that's doing that, let me see if I can get you guys a better angle from this side. Let's just throw this thing down here real quick. Let you guys look around the shop while I do this. All right, let's see. Apparently I missed one. There we go. Why is it so far off? 1, 2, 3, 1. Ah, there we go. Okay, anyways, we'll try to bring the light over here, get it a little bit closer, get you guys down closer again. There we go. You grab all my little E-clips, C-clips, clips. Oh no, I just dropped one. Where did it go? There it is. And then we can grab a pair of needle nose. And what we'll do, I always like to put the flat side facing up. I'm weird like that. I just feel like it's got better feel, so it doesn't pop off like the curved edge, the way these things are pressed out. And we'll just snap it back in place. And then I'll go to the one below it because click, click, make sure it's all the way down on there. Release it. And then I'll go ahead to the next two. Open it up a little bit, stick it in here, knock that around a little. Go to the next one. And it doesn't take a lot of pressure to get the wet clutch out of the way here, or the tripod. And it doesn't take a lot of pressure to push this thing flat at all. You can see how it's kind of wanting to fall. And the last one. I really wish I had a unit to stick this in and run it. I just don't have a way to compare for you guys. But like I said, a lot of guys do this. So here we go. That is back together. You can double check all these little guys to make sure all three of these little edges are pushed up underneath there. And that's how you install the slugs on this. It's a pretty simple thing. And again, remember, you change a wet clutch, the one-way bearing, or any of that, I would personally change the wet clutch, the one-way bearing, and the wet clutch drum as they all wear, because in this video coming up, you'll see that this hump right here I have, it's kind of rough. So even though the clutch looked really good, the one-way bearing had kind of gnawed it up a little bit, so it's going to cause popping issues. These basically help with engine braking and things like that as it goes. Like I said, some of the other ones don't have these in there that I'm aware of. I haven't seen it personally. And This one is a OEM. I believe this came out of a Cadet Challenger 500. And this one here is going to be, I think this is an Amazon special. I think I can't remember if this one's from Amazon or Massimo, one of the two, whatever. Honestly, I personally think Chinese junk is Chinese junk. So again, guys, that's what I have. It'll help with premature wear. It'll help with engagement. It'll help with slipping when you put that big load on there. You guys gotta remember, these things are they're not built to go major trail riding that I'm aware of. You know, a lot of guys have issues when it comes to that. Good workhorses around the house. Some of the units never have a problem. Some of the units have a problem every time you turn the key. That's the nature of the beast. Now, I've worked for many different manufacturers, and a lot of different manufacturers have problems. Some people just don't hear about it because you're not into Polaris, you're not into Can-Am, you're not into Honda, Yamaha, whatever it may be. And then we all know these are done after the Rhino or the Grizzly 660. Very big clone of that. So, I mean, if you guys look at every forum, I mean, I worked with Triumph, I worked with Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, Suzuki, so on and so forth. Everybody's got their problems. These are definitely made lower quality. I've worked with the Odes. You know, everything is a lower quality. You get what you pay for. People say people whine about things, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, people whine because they pay 10 grand and get 50 miles, and then this goes out, and then guess what? It's a wearable part. Unless there's a catastrophic failure, warranty doesn't cover wearable parts. The clutch is a wearable part. The belt's a wearable part. The brakes are a wearable part. The tires are a wearable part. So anything that's considered a wearable part, look at your warranty closely. It'll say mud, dirt, water, and then whatever else will void your warranty. So be very smart about this, guys, when you're out there trying to get your warranty taken care of. There's a lot of clauses in the warranty stuff that people, as a Massimo warranty service center, they have to follow. They have to take pictures. They have to fill out a mechanical failure report. Tell you what the problem is, how to solve the problem, what parts to order. There's a lot that goes behind this. Again, I am becoming a Massimo service and warranty center, and I have done it in the past for another business I worked with. I want to be able to give you guys better content when it comes to these units. There's so many questions out there, and I want to be able to have a good education myself. Like I said, a lot of this is self-taught through years of working on these things, and I haven't had many of the Linhai engines in here. I've had mostly the Hisun products. Again, guys, that's all the information I got for you on these that I know. If you know some more information, man, everybody down in the comments would probably absolutely love to hear about it because everybody we know has problems with the wet clutches in these units. And there's going to be ways you can probably throw heavier weights in the primary outer sheave, outer clutch. There's probably a way you can shim the secondary clutch to make it stay closed longer, or add a heavier spring. I mean, I think if somebody gets into the fact of making cool aftermarket stuff for these Massimos, these Hisun products or Linhai products, like doors, windshields, covers, heaters, you know, all these things, I think a person would do really good. Now, I know it takes a lot of money and a lot of time to do that, but I think it'll definitely help everybody else out here because everybody's always looking for a little something extra to add to their Massimo or Bennche or Cowboy or Hisun, you know, whatever they have rebranded, the Coleman Outfitters, Cub Cadet Challengers, all that stuff. Again, guys, that's my information on this. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, shoot a thumbs down. And like I said, drop some comments down below so anybody watching this video can get some ideas of what's going on, what kind of issues you've had with these things, what kind of luck you had, what have you done to address the problems, do you change it all out as a unit or don't you? Again, guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. Help me put out some more content for you. And guys, I appreciate you tuning in. If you need to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me on Facebook at Limitless Powersport Service and Repair, here on YouTube at Limitless Powersport Service and Repair. Email me at limitlesspowersport78@gmail. Find me on TikTok at Limitless Powersport Sir and Rep. Guys, I appreciate it like always, and I'll catch you on my next upload.